Hello, I'm Devin, bringing you my XPDLA Week 4 Season... What, man, I'm tired. Season 4 draft review, plus my Weeks 1 and 2 games. We're 5 weeks into the season, and I decided I want to record videos to this league. So, yeah, going into this, I picked 4th overall. There's my draft on screen, just the whole thing. Started off with Mew because I wanted to use Mew. I've used Mew every season for this league except for season 1 because I like Mew. Then I got Torn T because it made it back to me even though I picked 4th overall and it was round 2. It was, I don't know why that was still there. And then I got Scolipede because I haven't used Scolipede in a while and it's a fun Pokemon. And then I got Cobalion because I wanted Rocks, another little speed tiered around. And around the 110 mark. I got Mamo because wanted to stack some priority and get another solid rocker, offensive rocker, as well as Cobalion, which usually is, I think, an offensive rocker. I really don't think defensive Cobalion's that great. So then I got Mega Diancie because I wanted a flying resist and a Mega that was also pretty reliable and some hazard control too. Then I got Rotom Mo, but I saw a different avenue after the draft because there was a free agent grace period, and I thought getting Dracloak would be funny, so I dropped it for Vaporeon after the draft because I didn't really see any other tier 4 bulky waters I wanted or tier 5s because Quillfish and Scolipede on the same team isn't really that good, and I think the other tier 4 bulky water I was looking at was I was looking at a tier 5 bulky water in Lantern. Then not only did that get taken, but I realized that plus Rotom-Mo wasn't that great. I would have liked to have kept Rotom-Mo because I really want to try it out, but this gen, I had tried it out before and it was okay, but I haven't tried it out in Gen 8 yet, so unfortunate, but I feel like bulky waters are pretty important, so dropped it for Vaporeon. Then I got a Alolan Persian because I wanted a dark type and some more momentum because all I really had at that point was Mew, Cobalion, and Torn, and I like having a ton of Volt Turn, as well as the fact that I got Magneton here. I don't feel like getting Cobalion as your only steel type is that great of an idea, and the momentum that Magneton offered. There's also another tier 4 I was looking at. There really weren't that many tier 4s that I wanted, but I wanted to be able to fill out my draft with 2 tier 5s. And that's why I got Tangela next, because at tier 5 is a grass type. Is between that and Lurantis, and the last time I drafted Lurantis, I didn't bring it to a game. I know Lurantis isn't that bad, but it's just I'd rather use Tangela because it's just bulkier, much more reliable, even though it's not a defogger like Lurantis is. Just overall a more reliable Pokemon because Eviolite's such a good item. And then lastly, I wanted a Ghost, and I got Spiritomb, which also stacked some priority and stuff. I dropped it for Dracloak though because I wanted my Dragon type to be a Dracloak because I thought that was funny. And it is pretty funny, but yeah. So that's pretty much the basic overview, and we're going to get into week 1 here against the Kona. Did I say Kona? Is it Kona? I think it is Kona. Cramorants. Let's turn that down a little bit. Alright. So my opponent is Roserade God, which is just not a... That's me. His team consists of Corviknight, Dracozolt, Jellicent, Shaman, Vanillix, Simisear, Mega Beedrill, Urshifu, Single Strike, Slurpuff, Komala, and Donphan. The biggest threats to my team are the Urshifu and the Dracozolt. The Dracozolt's actually really hard for me to switch into and check reliably. Slurpuff's also pretty scary. And defensively, he just stacks up pretty decent because Jellicent's an alright switch into stuff like Torn, especially the set I'm ringing. And yeah, Shaman's okay. There's just certain things he could bring. Corviknight as well is pretty good at switching into things. So, yeah. First mon I brought was Torn T. Taunt is there to stop stuff like Recover from Jellicent, Aurora Veil from Vanillix, which I thought was a pretty big one, because if he thinks he's gonna force me out with a Freeze Dry into Magneton or Cobalion, I could just taunt him, stop his Aurora Veil from going up, and then U-turn out into one of those two, and take the hit and then kill it. Probably Cobalion and shit. So yeah, Hurricane and Heat Wave are pretty much just all I need. Heat Wave's pretty much only there for the Corviknight, obviously, because That's his only flying resist, I think. He also has the Dracozolt, but the Dracozolt doesn't have doesn't have reliable recovery, and if it switches in on a Hurricane plus a U-turn, that's pretty good damage, so I'm okay with that prospect. There's also the chance of Heat Wave burns, so yeah. I'm overall happy with this set. It's modest. I think I'm speed creeping Urshifu with this. No, I'm speed creeping Shaman? There's something above Shaman? Might have been a Scarfer I was creeping for here. I completely forgot. It might have been Scarf Dracozolt even. Something like that. Or Scarf Adamant, because that's faster than Shaman and stuff. I think I can speed creep for that. While staying modest. Up next we have the Magneton, which was Eviolite and Magnapole, obviously. This is a really reliable Corviknight Trapper. Eviolite's there so I can take a Body Press and shit. I think I take a Body Press after an Iron Defense, which is why I went with Eviolite. I was thinking about going with Specs, but that's not really that great, because although it, like, T-Bolt kills it, it's just like the Dracozolt can come in on me if he Shed Shell, and then I immediately have to switch. If I really don't want that to be the case. I want to maybe force the Dracozolt to sub, burn some health, HPIs to sub away, you know, something like that. And I can, and even if I think I'm Specs, unless I'm modest, I don't think I actually one-shot it, especially defensive Dracozolt with, not Dracozolt, Corviknight with Thunderbolt. So I just decided to go with this, and I think he's going to be specially defensive just because that's a really good check to Mew and Torn and Diancie. I feel like especially defensive Jellicent and Corviknight are coming to this game, so yeah, this set's just overall really, really solid. Flash Cannon provides solid damage and stops the Slurpuff from setting up on me, just flat out, outright. It does good neutral damage to Shaman, and it hits the Vanillix, so yeah. Volt Switch obviously good for momentum, and then HPIs is pretty much exclusively there for the Dracozolt and the Shaman, because it is stronger than Flash Cannon against Shaman, I think. No, I think they're equal, but, you know, it's just there. You know what I mean? So, up next we have the Stealth Rocking Cobalion, which was supposed to be Choppleberry, but I somehow fucked up and put Eviolite on it, so that's pretty funny. It's got Rocks, Volt Switch, Close Combat, and Stone Edge. Yeah, overall, just a really solid rocker for this matchup. It can volt around, do good damage, break subs on things like Komala and like Soul Bulk Up on Urshifu. If it was Choppleberry, I think I could take a -1, or at -1 defense, I think I could take a Close Combat from a non-banded Urshifu. But again, I'm a Violite and stuff because I fucked up. I just fucked up somewhere. I genuinely don't know how that happened, but yeah, I messed up. So it's just a overall straightforward Pokemon. Obviously, Volt switching around is convenient and things. So yeah, it's just pretty good overall. Scare out stuff like Slurpuff with the idea or with the threat of having an Iron Head and things for it. Then I get some Volt switch momentum to switch in like a Corviknight or a Jellicent. Since both are weak to electric, they don't want to necessarily take rocks plus the Volt switch hit. So yeah. Up next, Bog Standard Rock Polish Diancie. All I need is its dual stabs for this matchup, and so I just put 2 moves on it. I was thinking Rock Polish and Calm Mind, but I figure I'm not going to be able to set up both, and I'd rather have the speed boost, because if he's got something like a Scarfed Dracozolt or a Scarfed Urshifu, I'm going to want to have to outspeed those, so I figured Reflect was better in that slot, because if he's like banded, locked into CC, I get a Reflect up, and I'm pretty much in good graces there. I can help out other stuff on my team, like my Mew and my Torn too, that way, so yeah. That's pretty straightforward. That's just a Rock Polish Diancie, and it does a lot of work and damage. The speed, I decided in the end that outspeeding the Shaman was more important than just having modest damage. So it was a trade-off, but I decided in the end to go with the speed creep on the Shaman, because if it was low enough, I didn't want to have to like go into this or the Mew. I think the Mew, well, the Mew wasn't max speed, so yeah, one of those two to revenge kill. I wanted to have the third option just in case it was an offensive Shaman. So I just decided that was better for me. Actually, I think I'm outspeeding the Simisear too, so that I guess that helps. If it is like HP Steel, then that would hurt, I guess. And then I have a Dragon Dance Mew. Play Rough obviously hits the Urshifu, Wild Charge hits the Corviknight, and then Play Rough, or Psychic Fang hits basically everything else. It's just Dragon Dance. I was thinking between Colbur or Lumberry, which I wanted more. I decided in the end to go for Colbur because Wicked Blow is broken and Urshifu is stupid. And then lastly, we have the Scarf Persian. Very hard coming up with a fourth move, either Gunk Shot or Play Rough in that slot. Play Rough didn't end up doing as much to Urshifu as I'd wanted it to, so I decided in the end to go with Gunk Shot because I'd rather have this insurance against the Unburden boosted Slurpuff, which this thing is designed to outspeed anyway, so I think it still does more than Foul Play at +6, but I'd have to look at that calc again, and it's been like a month since this game, so yeah, let's just get right into the battle. Boop, and wrong thing, there we go. Alright, is this good? Is that good? Good and shit? Alright. He brought Urshifu, Corviknight, Slurpuff, Jellicent, Donphan, and Beedrill. I didn't expect to see Donphan this game. I actually, in that slot, expected a different rocker, but as you'll see during the game, it doesn't actually have Stealth Rock, so I think this is his only Stealth Rocker. It is. So, I guess that's probably why at Team Preview I thought he'd bring it. I thought he brought it. That and the fact that I figured he wanted Ice Shard for, like, Torn and stuff. So, I guess that made sense in my head, but I actually thought he'd bring, like, Shaman or Dracozolt especially in that slot, because it's looking like a pretty defensive team. Obviously with the prospect of a Belly Drum Puff, and obviously he's got the Beedrill and the Urshifu, so yeah, it's pretty scary just in general. So I think I lead with Tornadus, because if he leads with Slurpuff I can taunt it, and then if it has Mental Herb then fuck me, because I don't have Defog. But yeah, well, I decided to just lead with Torn anyway, and he leads with his Beedrill. So here, Heat Wave is pretty free because I can take a Poison Jab and I one-shot the Beedrill anyway. If he thinks he can go into Corviknight, I can scout its set and get a Heat Wave off, do good damage. If he stays in Poison Jabs, like I said, I live Life Orb and I kill him, so that's pretty much worth it. So he does U-turn out with the Beedrill, which is perfectly okay with me, and he brings in the Donphan, and I'm going to miss my Heat Wave. So turn 1, that's really great. I would have been able to see that this is actually an Assault Vest Donphan, which it is, and had Chip on it, and had the info. So that's just really a stupid turn, but, you know, whatever. Here he's going to Ice Shard, because I had to calc it vigorously to see what the fuck the Ice Shard damage is, because I figured if it's coming in like this, it's going to be Assault Vest. So I just decided to just U-turn out, and Ice Shard doesn't do as much as I figured. I think that it showed it was like max attack adamant, I think, but it didn't. I don't know. It was weird. The calc was being weird this game. So I think here I just go for a Parting Shot, yeah. And I'm going to bring in Torn again, or I'm going to bring in Mew, expecting like a Stone Edge or something, but he's going to knock off my Colbur Berry, so it's pretty annoying, but I'm going to Dragon Dance up as the Jellicent comes in, and I should have probably just gone for the Wild Charge here. But I didn't want to get burned on my Mew and then have this thing become a problem later on. Honestly, again, hindsight 2020 and everything, I really should have just Wild Charged this thing, because looking at my team, this thing's actually pretty hard to break if it's specially defensive like I think it is, so he's going to burn my Magneton coming in, and I'm going to Volt out here as the Donphan comes in. Or I think I Flash Cannon the incoming Donphan, yeah. So that was a smart move on my part, but yeah, obviously the fact that it's Assault Vest helps it, but I'm chipping it down into Hurricane range, which is pretty nice. Here he's going to double into his Beedrill as I go into Persian. Pretty smart play on his part if I wasn't Scarfed, and I one-shot the Beedrill. Crit definitely did not matter. As the Urshifu comes in, I was really afraid of the Slurpuff coming in and getting up either Webs or a Belly Drum for free, but in the end I decided if it was Belly Drum, I'm just going to stay in, sack the Persian, foul play it twice, and then go from there, maybe go into... No, I saw at that point that I had a Chople. I didn't have Chople on Cobalion, so that was really annoying, but yeah, I guess he thought I could be Chople on Cobalion, so he didn't go into Slurpuff to do anything, because it turns out he's not Belly Drum. I'm just going to spoil that here. So I decided in the end that Mew is going to be the Sacrificial Lamb, because I'm looking at my team, obviously nothing switches into this, and then this is the turn that I probably should have gone to the calc, but I'm still afraid of Scarf Urshifu like no other. And later on in the game, I work off of the assumption that this thing is Scarfed, but if I had calced here, I would have seen that with my Mew Bulk, because that's an unstab U-turn, even though it's coming off of an Urshifu. An Adamant Scarf Urshifu doesn't kill Mew there, it has to be Choice Banded. So, I really should have calced that, but I didn't. So, yeah. So my Mew's gonna go down, the Donphan's gonna come back in, so I decided to go into my Torn, double into my Persian to get some regen back, and he makes a really good play capitalizing on that, going into his, going for an Earthquake there, getting like half off my Persian. So that was really smart on his part. Definitely. I'm gonna get the Parting Shot off on the incoming Corviknight, which is fine. I get Mirror Armor, but it doesn't matter because I'm switching. And I go Magneton. Probably should have just hard T-bolted here because I two-shot no matter what, and I live Body Press no matter what. Getting the Corviknight out of the way is really good for Diancie, but I'm going to Volt out, and he's going to have, like, no bulk on this thing. I think it was, like, max speed or something after the game he showed me with his Pokepaste, I think. So here, I'm going to Hurricane because it's pretty free, and I'm going to miss the incoming Jellicent, which is awesome. So I taunt it so it doesn't burn, so it doesn't recover, so it doesn't do anything. I'm going to Hurricane to scout the set, and it's pretty spadef. So getting that Hurricane off on the switch-in would have been really nice, but that's not going to happen. So he's going to get Hurricane to lose like half his health. He's going to Ice Beam me, and then here I'm just going to go into Hard Magneton, expecting another Ice Beam. I'm going to go Hard Cobalion, sorry, as he hexes, which is pretty smart, and then he crits me, which, again, really annoying. So here I'm going to Volt out. No, I think I was afraid of a Will-O-Wisp coming out here. But he recovers, so I probably should have just, gone for rocks or something. Here I'm gonna Flash Cannon. I'm expecting the Donphan to come in because it just makes sense. Like, why would you sack this? But, no, he's just gonna Hex me, and then here I'm gonna Flash Cannon him again as he recovers, and then I'm gonna Volt Switch out. I don't know why I skipped that turn. I'm gonna Flash Cannon him again as he recovers, and then I'm just gonna Volt Switch out. So I felt like he made a really risky and, in my opinion, just not great series of plays there, but, that's just me, I guess. I don't know. I figured he would just go to the Donphan because if I T-bolt his Jellicent, then that just makes it so much easier for Tornadus to sweep him because his Corviknight's almost dead and his Donphan can't take a Heat Wave into a Hurricane, and I can just regen off Ice Shard damage. So whatever. I'm gonna switcheroo because I really don't think he's gonna stay in with his Jellicent. So I do catch the incoming Slurpuff, and I get a Citrus Berry, which gives me back a little bit of health. I'm gonna munch a Flamethrower. I don't expect him to Gleam here. I feel like that would be pretty bad on his part, so I get a free switch to Diancie, which means I get to claim a free Pokemon because nothing wants to switch into this Moonblast, because his Jellicent's low. So I Moonblast, kill off the Corviknight incoming, and so the Donphan comes in, so I have to pick a sack. Decide to go for Persian because I expected a Stone Edge. I'm going to stack some regen by sacking Magneton here. Go back into Torn. Go for the Heat Wave. Go for the Hurricane and knock this thing out because it's in range. So the Jellicent's going to come back in, and I go for another Hurricane, expecting an Ice Beam, expecting my Taunt, and he goes for Hex. So here is where the Urshifu bullshit matters. I'm gonna expect the recover, but I thought it would be Scarf, but if I calced, I would have just been fine here. Because I could just Moonblast, kill this. The Slurpuff can't kill me with anything unless it's HP Steel for some fucking reason. Or even then, I could just go into Copalion on it, and pretty much anything that Slurpuff does, hit that with Stone Edge or Close Combat or whatever. And just work from there, so that would be really good for me. But I go for Rock Polish, because I thought that the Urshifu was Scarfed. So, I'm going to Moonblast the Jellicent, drop its attack, I think, on the next turn. So this Hex damage, and just this whole sequence could have been avoided if I wasn't retarded. So I'm gonna Moonblast this thing a couple times, get the crit here, and he's gonna Hex me and put me in range of Energy Ball from his Slurpuff, which it turns out he's gonna have after I knock this thing out. Really stupid just sequence on my part. I could have had a chance if I just Moonblasted the Jellicent off the rip. So here is a 50-50. I could theoretically set up Stealth Rock to guarantee a CC kill on the Urshifu. But if he goes hard Urshifu, then I just lose. So I decided to go for Stone Edge, because Stone Edge would put it in range, and I could make this a 1-0 game or whatever. I could just guarantee a 1-0 game if I just click Stone Edge here. Really probably could have just set up rocks and tried to hope for the choke of him staying in and clicking Energy Ball, but even then, he could on the next turn just switch this thing out, go to Urshifu, come in on a CC, come back in, and then Flamethrower me. So I think either way I was boned, no matter what I did. So I think I just went for Stone Edge. I think it was... he stays in Energy Balls. I go for Stone Edge to knock this thing out, or hit the incoming Urshifu. And then it's all down to a roll, which is heavily in his favor, and he's going to get it. So, really unfortunate game. I kind of choked a couple times by rock polishing, and then not setting up rocks, potentially, eking out a win there. And then there were just a few plays I really probably could have done better there. Played around the Jellicent better, maybe just T-bolted it right away or just Volt switched. Because if he went Donphan, I was faster, Flash Cannon, maybe I could have just sacked Magneton and then had an easier time with stuff like Diancie, because that Moonblast would have been a guaranteed kill on it. I could have probably just played differently and played better. So, unfortunate loss there. How long is this? 21 minutes? Yeah, okay. So, I'm gonna make the second game a lot quicker than this one. Yeah. Unfortunately, just not a great played game for me. But, sometimes we just have those unfortunate games we wish we could take back. So, between weeks 1 and 2, right. So I made a few free agent changes because I saw someone to drop Mega Mawile and I wanted it. So I got rid of Mega Diancie for it, and so I figured that the Steel type, I didn't want Triple Steel. Figured that that's not super necessary because the time I had Triple Steel in one was a fluke. I feel like I just played well. I don't know, my team was just good. So I don't feel like this team benefits from Triple Steel, I guess, is what I'm trying to say or something. And I wanted a new Dark type, and I wanted a Stealth Rocker, like another just decent Rock type Stealth Rocker, because I kind of needed Bird Resists. So I replaced Persian with Regirock, and then I dropped Cobalion for Obstagoon because I wanted a Dark type. And then I also wanted something immune to Ghost. So that's another reason I got Obstagoon. So there you go. So for my next opponent, I have a Mega Mawile, as well as a Regirock and an Obstagoon available to me. So here we go. My next opponent is Dilly and the... what the fuck? Denver Flare Blitz. So her team consists... I don't fucking know. Consists of Bulu, Nidoking, Greninja, Metagross, Hitmontop, Drampa, Charizard Y, Zero-Aura, Blastoise, Mismagius, and Articuno. So I feel like this is a pretty winnable matchup, because I've quite a few threats this person's team. Yeah, so let's just step right into it. The big threats, Charizard Y is like impossible for me to switch into. I don't think there's like any switching in the game really, unless it's like a super specially defensive Assault Vest fucking Dragalge or something. Then you can just run Earthquake for that. So I don't know. The Zero-Aura is kind of annoying, as well as the Bulu. I really do expect the Bulu to show up to this game. So yeah, that's there's still, there's other stuff like the Greninja outspeeds everything. That could be annoying if it's specs. So yeah, there's just quite a few threats. Too many to really recount here. It's a pretty volatile matchup, but I feel like I've definitely got a better chance in this game than the other one, because there's no Urshifu for me to deal with. So first off, the kicker, the thing I think is gonna make or break the game. Scolipede absolutely rails this draft. And again, has super effective coverage for everything except Blastoise and Mismagius. But Mismagius is really frail, and Blastoise is going to have to switch into a few things. Well, I mean, it's not super effective against Hitmontop, but I don't think Hitmontop's really coming to this game. Because I have a Tornadus, I have a Mew, and I have a Mega Mawile, so I don't know how likely it is of a threat. Yeah, I didn't hit period at any point. I don't know. Anyway. So, yeah, just this coverage and Swords Dance absolutely mauls the team. If I get a Swords Dance up at any point on something like the Hitmontop or something like a Blastoise going for Rapid Spin, let's say, I'm in really good shape, because this thing just runs house, basically. especially with Adamant. You know, obviously it's Life Orb and everything. So, next we have the Stealth Rocking Mawile. It's got Sucker Punch, Play Rough, and Thunder Punch as its attacks. The speed, I think, was there for a no speed. I think it was there for Adamant Hitmontop or something like that. I don't know, it's a really high amount of speed. I completely forgot what this was for, but the bulk helps a lot with stuff like Metagross and stuff like Greninja. So I can definitely take like Specs Dark Pulses, maybe live a Specs Pump after Rocks. I think I can, right? I might be able to, or a Life Orb Hydro Pump after Rocks even, and kill that off with a Thunder Punch. Sucker Punch is just nice overall, and there's really no good Play Rough switch in. Metagross doesn't really want to switch in because it fears knockoff, and I actually do expect Metagross to come to this game, and it doesn't want to take a knockoff or really a Thunder Punch, to be honest. Thunder Punch just does a lot, even with this little attack investment, and then Nidoking's just not a good switch in, just at all, plain and simple, to Mega Mawile. I was thinking about running Ice Punch over T-Punch, but if there's an overprediction from the Charizard, I want to be able to one-shot that guaranteed. So I went for Thunder Punch, plus the fact that that's neutral against Metagross. I felt that was a happy medium, plus it hits the Blastoise and everything. So next we have an Assault Vest Torn. This is my quote-unquote switch-in, I guess, to the Charizard, because I two-shot with Smackdown. If it goes for Air Slash, I can take an Air Slash into a Flamethrower. Or if I come in on a Focus Blast, I can live a Fire Blast, as long as rocks aren't up and everything. So, yeah, this is really the best I got. So, Hurricane, obviously good for most of the team, but once Sun's up, it's really unreliable. Smackdown two-shots the Zard. Heat Wave is for the Metagross, plus potentially not wanting to miss the Bulu, and it's boosted in Sun. Once the Sun's up, nothing really wants to switch in besides Blastoise and Drampa. And Drampa I don't see coming to this game because it makes Mawile pretty free. And it's not really a good check to stuff like a Nasty Plot Mew or something like a Specs Magneton. So, speaking of Magneton, I'm bringing Scarf. This is a great revenge killer for Charizard, as well as a chipped Zero Aura because I have HP Ground. It's good for Bulu because I outspeed pretty much every Bulu. I don't expect like a Jolly Max Speed Scarf Bulu to come to this game. So if I Flash Cannon that, then gone. Volt Switch is just great momentum. His two electric immunities don't really want to switch into this. Nidoking doesn't want to eat a Flash Cannon, and Zero Aura doesn't really want to just eat hits in general because it's pretty frail. So, up next we have a pretty bulky Mew. It's got Wisp, Volt, Psychic, and Roost. Wisp this thing is generally just a great check to stuff like Zero Aura. If I can burn the Zero Aura, incoming trying to eat a Volt Switch, that really is great for something like Scolipede, because once that's burned, I can potentially get up an SD on it. And if it's something like Shuckaberry, which I kind of do expect, because if it's good for checking Scolipede Earthquake, and then it gets Blaze Kick up, as long as it's not like it can Blaze Kick me. I mean, if I'm not like if it's not like burned or anything. So that's why Will-O-Wisp is there. Will-O-Wisp is just great because it burns the Zero Aura, the Bulu. Psychic overall is good because it most of the team fears it. I could burn the Metagross, which would be great for something like Mawile or Magneton. And yeah, it's just overall a good set for this matchup. And then finally we have a Tangela, relatively specially defensive because I want to be able to take Hydro Pumps from Greninja and everything. Take a Dark Pulse or two, maybe an Ice Beam. It just naturally takes hits from stuff like Metagross and Bulu, but definitely the defense investment helps a lot with that. So yeah, it definitely helps with taking like Mega Horns and everything. It's also a great check to something like Zero Aura. Giga Drain, HP Fire is there for the Metagross primarily. Giga Drain just overall nice. Stun Spore is there to paralyze the Charizard if it overpredicts. And Sludge Bomb is pretty much exclusively for the Bulu. It's pretty much just a guaranteed one-shot on 90% of Bulu sets. So, yeah. Alright, getting into the replay. My opponent elected to bring Zard Y, Greninja, Hitmontop, Blastoise, Zero Aura, and Nidoking. So not really a team I expected to see at all. Torrent's going to be really pressured throughout this game because the Greninja and the Charizard and the Nidoking are here, like I figured they would be, but it could potentially get some free regen chances on a close combating or low kicking or whatever on Hitmontop, as well as some pivot chances. The Zero Aura is definitely going to apply a lot of pressure throughout this game. I got to make sure I keep Tangela and Mew healthy. And not lock into stupid moves with Magneton. So yeah, let's get right into it. So I'm going to lead with the Magneton as he leads with the Blastoise. So I figure here that you don't really want to take damage on your Blastoise unless you have Wakan Berry in either Earthquake or Mirror Coat. So I decide to go for HP Ground kind of stupidly. I probably should have just gone for Thunderbolt or Volt Switch, because if I Volt out and it stays in, I see a Wakan Berry pop, I'm going to go straight to probably Tangela, I would think, because I'm expecting Earthquake over Mirror Coat, to be honest, because I'm an optimist, I guess. Yeah, so if I see a Wakan Berry pop, I could just react accordingly, or I could try and just T-Bolt it, to be honest, but I really expected the Nidoking to come in here for some free rocks, because Magneton gets scared out by Nidoking. If I'm locked in a T-Bolt, yeah. So I just go for an HP Ground, but unfortunately the Nidoking is just going to flip turn, and yeah, I don't really get too far. So the Charizard's going to come in here, and I have to switch, because I don't want to lose my Magneton. For no reason. So I go into Torn, I just get off the smackdown damage. I really want to force this thing to roost later, as I get killed by 2 flamethrowers, so unfortunate start. I was really hoping for a Focus Blast, but I mean, I don't know why you'd click Focus Blast there, that'd be stupid. So I'm going to go into Magneton again, and I'm going to click HP Ground again, and because there's no way this thing stays in. I'm expecting either of these two to come in, but in comes the Assault Vest Hitmontop, so Mew is just going to kind of come in for free here as the Triple Axle comes out and does nothing, pretty much. So I get my lefties back, and I'm gonna go for a Volt. And just for some reasons, just stays in, even though I could burn this, even though I could do damage to it. I mean, I don't know. So I'm gonna come in intimidated on another Triple Axle, get Mawile in for free, and kill something, basically. So I'm going to play rough the incoming Blastoise, and it's going to take enough to where I know it's pretty physically defensive, and I can outspeed it and Thunder Punch it on this turn. So it's going to die, and the Charizard's going to come back in. Oh no, the Nidoking's going to come in here. And so I decided to go into Mew, because it's pretty much my only switch in. I think I have speed on this, right? No, I have no speed on it, but I want him to think that I could probably outspeed and kill this with a Psychic, and it's probably Scarf too. I think the damage from Flamethrower showed me that it was Life Orb. So I just scare him out with the idea of a Psychic coming out. So the Zero Aura is going to come in on my Roost, which is definitely really good for me, because I can take anything from this thing, and even a knockoff does fucking nothing as I burn it. And yeah, that's really good for the rest of my team. And I get free healing here. Volt switches out. In comes the Greninja. Excuse me, so I'm going to roost off most of the damage I've taken and go into Tangela, expecting just a move of some kind as spikes come out. So here I'm going to go for Stun Spore, expecting the Zard to come in, but the Hitmontop comes in instead, so I get to go back to Mew. The Paralyzed Hitmontop as the Charizard comes in. It was a very smart play on this person's part, on her part, as this comes in on my Mew, and I really don't have a switch in, obviously. And this could have probably just come in on a Giga Drain or an HP Fire or pretty much anything. Like, I could Giga Drain. Because, like, I'm pretty much not going to Stun Spore again is the thought process here. And I definitely wasn't going to there. So the Charizard switch is just very good overall. So I'm going to Volt out, and I'm going to go into Magneton again. And then here, I believe I just go for a Thunderbolt straight away. I Volt Switch, sorry. As the Hitmontop comes in, so I get a free back into Mawile, and absolutely nothing comes in on this, but I get to lay down my rocks first, because that's pretty important, right? So I want to lay down my rocks. I'm expecting either a Sucker Punch or a Mach Punch, either one, whatever. Here I'm just going to Sucker, just to play mind games with the Zard, and not take chip damage, and then I'm going to go for Thunder Punch, expecting, just like a Rabbit Spin or something. So Zard's going to come in, again, a 50-50. Like, I figured you pretty much have to Roost here, because you die if I Sucker, and it's pretty free. And you live a Thunder Punch even if I don't Sucker, and you Roost, so I think it lives. Actually, I don't even know, to be honest. It might not. But I figure Sucker was just way too obvious here, so I decided to not go for it, and I get Flamethrowered. So, yeah, Great. So I'm going to go into Scully because I want to play for Fear. And I do play the Fear because Roosting expecting my Protect or expecting me to outspeed or just sacking this, to be honest. Probably just expecting my Protect or something. So I get a Rock Slide. I could have SD'd, to be honest with you. I probably should have, actually. But I just go for Rock Slide because I'm expecting, I don't know, a switch. I don't know. I just, yeah, go for Rock Slide and I kill it. So out comes the Nidoking, and you might be, yeah. So I'm going to Earthquake, and that pretty much seals the game right there, because the Nidoking comes in, and, yeah. I don't know why that was the immediate answer, because you have the Shuckle Berry on this. You could Blaze Kick, but it turns out to not have Blaze Kick, because it Plasma Fists me. And if the Nidoking had Sucker Punch, which I don't think it did, because it would have clicked it, but, yeah, it would have been pretty bad for me. So I'm going to Earthquake, kill this, expecting the Water Shuriken to come off, and then me to clean up with either Tangela or Magneton, but I get a pleasant surprise when I Poison Jab the Greninja, and there's no Water Shuriken that comes out. So that's going to be a 3-0 victory for me, 4 kills for the Scolipede, and yeah, I'm pretty overall happy with this game. I don't know. My prep for the Charizard was a bit weak, but I didn't expect it to Flamethrower there, but I still feel like I played that game pretty well, especially around the Hitmontop. So, yeah, good 3-0 win, good bounce back from the choke last week, week 2, I guess. And so, yeah, I'll see you all with my weeks 3 and 4 games. So, yeah, see y'all then. Laters.